Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us for today's webinar titled, How to Design a Badass Backup Target Without Breaking the Bank. My name is Kevin Collins, and I'm from Unitrends, and I'm also here with JJ Rogers, one of our product managers, and he'll be taking us through the presentation today. And don't forget, one lucky attendee will be walking away with a $100 Amazon gift card. We'll contact the winner via email after the webinar. But before we start, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. This session will be recorded, and after the event, you'll receive an email with a link to the on-demand version of the webinar. I would also encourage you to ask questions throughout the presentation. You can do so by typing them into the Q&A box in the bottom right of the player. We'll answer your questions at the end of the session. At this point, I'll turn it over to JJ. Enjoy the presentation, and JJ, take it away.
Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for joining this webinar today. I've got some very, very important information for you centering around the subject matter, how to design a badass backup target. But it's not that simple. But first, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a product manager here at Unitrends, as stated. I have responsibility for two products, the Unitrends Enterprise Backup, as well as the Recovery Series appliances, which is all the hardware. I'm a 33-year information technology veteran, 15 years as a database administrator, 12 years as a product manager for hardware and software, and I do have 6 years hands-on experience with disaster recovery. So there's a lot of lessons learned, but one of the things I learned when I was doing this years ago is you got to understand what scope of the disaster are you trying to recover from. So I took a couple of notes here. There's a lot of things that are happening. You can turn on the news anytime, and you can see that there's fires, there's floods, there's hurricanes, there's earthquakes, especially if you're in California these days. They can have short and long-term effects to your data if you don't have the right contingency plan in place to accommodate these disasters when they happen. Myself, I lived in Houston for about 18 years, so I survived Hurricane Ike, and I saw firsthand its impact on small businesses in Houston. And in fact, a lot of them didn't have backup contingencies in place, and a lot of them went out of business. So there lies the importance of having some kind of a plan and also understanding the scope of the disaster. Now, disaster number 4, we have human error. Oops, I deleted a file. Oops, I spilled the coffee. Oops, I opened an email and it sent some ransom mail and some virus all through the organization and corrupted all of my data. You have to be prepared for all of them, because any one of them can happen at any time. Okay, that is not the Punisher. That's doom and gloom there. So what's going on these days? Change is now, change is accelerating. There are lots of big risks there, and you know this by now, but can you really afford to just sit and watch? Because you got 33 times much faster is that IT is growing faster than IT administrators. I experienced this firsthand as a DBA, where I had to wear multiple hats and construct a disaster recovery contingency for many different databases that I was supporting. So not only did I have to do my day-to-day database administration, my queries, my performance and tuning, my installs, all the other things, but I had to do disaster recovery. So it took me away from my day-to-day. And I say today that if I had something that I can just plug in and watch it go and give me peace of mind so I can sleep well at night, knowing that there's something doing it for me that I don't have to babysit, I'd have a lot less gray hairs today. Second, 60% of businesses that have been attacked by ransomware. And this is absolutely huge. It's one of the things that are very, very prevalent in the industry today, and lots of companies that have been hit, and it's just on the rise. And the bottom line, there's a cost associated with that. IT downtime, they're estimating it's around $700 billion. Let me give you one more doom and gloomish, and we can get right into your concerns. But these are your concerns, I think. So over the next 10 years, analysts are telling us at IDC that in terms of the number of IT administrators, it's only going to grow by 1.5. Growth in servers times 10. Growth in data times 50. Growth in files times 75. So you can see the growth is the hockey stick up and to the right. but the manpower to manage and monitor and handle all those things is not growing at the same rate. So again, we have to do more with less. I've been hearing it for 30 years, and it's not going to get any different. So again, it's important to have the right solutions in place that are going to help you to manage and develop the right contingencies for your disaster recovery. So let's hit some questions that I put together. Some of them are in first persons. So a customer might say, so what do? Do I just start grabbing hardware and slap it together? No, you have to think about your goals. You got to know your environment. What should I think about first? I say type of disaster, and I like to keep it simple and use the KISS principle. We all have keys. Do you keep your primary key and your backup key on the same key chain? Because if you lose your keys, you lose both keys. This is a mistake that I made years ago, where we thought we had a good backup contingency plan in place, but the bottom line was that all our backups, our primary and second backups, were on the same site. So if anything happened, we would lose everything. Then we thought we got smarter. Then we went to ComDisco down the road, and we'd have our primaries at our primary site, and our secondary backups were transmitted over to ComDisco. Guess where ComDisco was? 4 miles from us. So if there's anything like, remember my disaster slide, anything like a flood or an earthquake or a hurricane or anything like that was going to hit our building, it was going to hit our disaster site as well. So we weren't really covering ourselves. So we had to take a step back and really think about what it is we're trying to do and the scope of the disaster that we're trying to accommodate. So we got to worry about your operating systems, your applications. Point of consistency was absolutely huge. We were running different types of backups, any kind of backup software you could think of, we were running it. But the problem was we didn't take a step back and say, well, at what point during the day, during the week, or on the weekends can I get a quiesce point and establish a clean point of consistency of backup that I could take this backup and everything in my shop, it represents that particular point in time where it's clean. And I can take it someplace else and restore my system and everything is up and running. You have to be able to look at those types of things. It's very, very important, because if you don't, you're going to be spinning your wheels like I did years ago. And you're going to find out, well, I got all these backups, I got all these backups. And when it comes to recovery, the data is useless. And we have some things here at Unitrends to help you with that. RTO and RPO, how much time you can afford to be down and how much time it's going to take you to restore your data. Any deeper technical things I consider to even do better. Well, you got to worry about your schedules. Do you want to run synthetic backups? Do you want to have to do deduplication? Because as the more data you collect, the more storage you're going to have to buy. So if you can compress and dedupe, it'll minimize that effect as well and still maintain your data. So it's a good idea to spend some time there. Compliance. I spent several years as a PM on compliance. There are so many regulations that are about in every single industry today, and they are all demanding that you can't get rid of that data. You can archive it, but you can't delete it anymore. So hence it's the same problem. If I had to keep all of my data forever, then I have to worry about where am I going to store the information. It's going to require more storage. Am I going to keep it off-site? Am I going to keep it on tape? Things like that. And also all these regulations, I'll pick one, for example, HIPAA high-tech. You got to protect the data when it's in flight, and you got to protect the data at rest and make sure that no one can get at it. So these are all the things you have to think about when you're doing a contingency. All right, so I'm making you think a ton. Now you're saying to yourself, can I please build my badass backup target now? Where do I start? You got to worry about hardware. You got to worry about CPU. You got to worry about bandwidth, memory, disks, SSDs, virtualizations. Oh my God, where do you pick and choose? Where do you go? Where do you shop? Where do you find this stuff that you're going to need to facilitate backing up your data? Anything to consider, like maintenance and tuning, monitoring, analytics, support. There are so many things that you have to take into account, things you have to research, things you have to worry about before you even start to implement anything. And there's a way that doesn't require me to think so much. You came to the right place, folks. Recovery Series. Everything that I just talked about. Imagine you have the ability to come to a company that's seasoned, that's been doing it the right way for a long time, that can give you the hardware that you need. You can just plug, play, and go. A company that give you the ability to back up your data on-premise and synchronize that data to cloud, any cloud. That's us. And also, we give you the ability to also run tests to make sure you have a good backup. And I'm stealing my thunder, but let me move ahead. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. So today, IT professionals, I speak with a few vendors, more complete solutions that take less time to manage, and it's something that they ultimately trust that will work. That's what we're all looking for. So we're looking for no finger pointing, just get the job done and do it. You want less management involved. You want a tremendous amount of flexibility because you're having more and more applications coming online all the time. They're going to have to be added to your contingencies. You want to have more uptime, and you want to have confidence and more free time, and you want to have time to address your primary role, your day-to-day responsibilities. You don't want to babysit a backup. Let's talk about the all-in-one enterprise backup and continuity solutions here at Unitrends. Let's go over the old world. Old world, that was my world. Lots of vendors, lots of finger pointing, more management, more work setting up and constantly tuning to make sure everything's right. You got limited continuity, little or no recovery assurance. Windows deployment and malware is susceptible. You always got to worry about that. And you have fragmented and lower customer satisfaction. More worries. Here's the new world. One vendor, Unitrends, one throat to choke. Let's work. Rack, connect, and go. Like I said earlier, we provide local and cloud continuity with recovery assurance. We'll give you more security, and everything is purpose-built on Linux. So you don't have to worry about all that malware stuff. It's unified, and we provide the highest customer satisfaction in the industry for what we do, and that'll give you more confidence that once you use Unitrends solutions to develop your contingencies for your backup, you'll have that peace of mind that everything is being backed up, and if anything ever happens, you can recover your file. You can recover your hard drive. If the building is gone, you can rehide your business into the cloud and keep moving your business right along. Let's talk some more old world. The old world, recovery assurance, cloud storage, cloud backup, disaster recovery software, infrastructure, on-premise backup software, operating system, virtualization, server storage. Let's talk about the KISS principle on the right. All of that is in Unitrends, in one box. Okay, let's go through the check boxes a little bit. So the bottom line is that we're bringing it all together for you. Single vendor, single interface. Hardware and software comes fully loaded in our Recovery Series appliances, and you can optionally integrate it with the Unitrends Cloud for off-site storage, long-term compliance, full failover, or any cloud you may want to go to. Here's our checkbox. Recovery Series appliances, and they go from anywhere from a mini 1U all the way up to 6Us appliances. We're hardened against ransomware attacks, fully integrated, optimized operating system and software in the box, fully integrated cloud storage and drafts, instant recovery to a hypervisor. That means you can take any backup and go from a physical to a virtual in minutes and restore your environment very quickly. Fully integrated and optimized hardware and software, instant recovery on the appliance, predictive hardware analysis, proactive hardware failure. I mean, there are times you have hard drives, they go sometimes. They're a lot more stable now than they were years ago. But here at Unitrends, we'll let you know that there's something going on with your drive, and we will automatically ship you a new one before it happens. How about that? So you don't have to do the work. You don't have to worry. We're doing all the work for you. We have Pledge, free hardware upgrade program, and that says that you sign up with us for 3 years. After 3 years, we pledge that we'll give you new hardware and upgrade you to the latest units that we have. So you know that over time, as you're collecting more and more storage in your on-premise, that you don't have to worry about your drive and hardware being obsolete. You'll always have the latest and the greatest hardware with better performance. And a lot of our appliances have integrated SSDs, and we have full support for backup server storage and software. I mean, does it get any better than that? Everything you need in the box, you plug it in, it goes, and you can address your day-to-day responsibilities without having to worry about it. Let's keep moving. Confidence with recovery assurance. This is absolutely huge because there are lots of customers out there that I've talked to, and even from my own experiences, when I'm doing my backups and I think everything is okay, but you really don't know that you have a good backup until you try to recover it. So what we'll do for you is that we'll take the responsibility of automating your application level testing and failover. We'll proactively uncover recovery issues for physical and virtual environments, and we'll send you a report letting you know how you did, letting you know that the backups you're taking, they're working. So fully automated, give you some business level reports so you can show it to your auditors and your compliance officers that says, hey, here we're backing up our data on premise, we're replicating to the cloud, and Unitrends has done the test for us, and we recognize we've got a report that says we're doing great, or there are some changes we need to make in our backup strategy and our contingencies to make sure that we pass next time. But you'll be in the know, you'll be in the aware, you'll know that what you're doing is working. All right, so let me give you an example of that. So here's an example of the report that you would see here where you see your current recovery readiness, what's okay, where you've got warnings and where things might have failed. And specifically, I identify what you need to do to pass their compliance, and you can pass this off. And you can actually store this information over time. And you can say, and when we first started doing this, we had, let's say, okay, we got 29 failed errors up there. When the next test, now we're down to 10, and then we're down to 0. And now we know that at any given time, we have to restore our environment, if we have to access our business applications, we have to rehydrate them in the cloud, we know that we can do it, and we know how long it takes. And this will help you to pass your compliance. So, cool. Can I repeat all that? Well, I can sum it up in a nutshell. Talk about establishing a target. Well, you can't establish a badass target until you know your source, until you know your data, until you know your application, until you know your interoperability, until you know that you have an appliance that we call the all-in-one recovery appliances that you can plug in, and then it can handle all of the backups for you and give you tremendous amounts of flexibility as far as whether you want to do replication site to site, or whether you want to do cloud, whether you want to do drafts, any of those types of things. We can handle all those things for you. We also, as I said earlier, we have our all-in-one virtual appliance. So if you're not using our physical appliances, we have our own software on the UAB that will work with any storage devices that you might have and help you to manage that, back it up, replicate to the cloud, and things like that. So you have a tremendous amount of flexibility. We also give you Office 365 backup. That will back up your Office 365, Exchange, and SharePoint, OneDrive, with unlimited retention, so you can keep this data forever. And also, we have another product called Boomerang that helps you to back up your virtual environments in AWS, Azure, for any VMware or virtual machines. In particular, you're talking about VMware, Hyper-V, and Zen. I like pictures. Let's say, for example, your data protection platform, you have an all-in-one software, which is the Unitrends backup. We have very different editions of that. And our recovery series, we have all-in-one physical appliances. So in terms of business continuity and DR, you can back this data up and replicate it to the cloud forever with no limits. You can adopt the draft that I talked about earlier, but we'll give you a 1-hour white glove failover for service. Well, we'll guarantee within an hour, we'll have your business applications rehydrated and ready to go when you declare a disaster. How much better does it get than that? And reliable DR, I spoke about earlier, this is absolutely tremendous software that makes sure that what you're doing is working. Remember, you never know you have a good backup until you try to recover it. So reliable DR will help you to accomplish that with automatic testing and orchestration of failover and failback. And we'll give you a report and let you know how you're doing. Peace of mind. True dominance. DCIG for integrated backup appliances. We got the Buyers Award last year, and hybrid cloud appliances. And we've also been rated #1 by our customers. And I'll just read this verbatim, one of our customers. The ultimate goal is to come in each morning and see no backup failures. This happens at least 99 times out of 100. End of story. If an IT shop doesn't give Unitrends a good, long, hard look, they are doing themselves a real disservice. I have recommended Unitrends to many because I truly believe it will save their butt at some point in their career. This is coming from one of our customers, and there are many, many, many more that'll say the same things about our solutions, our hardware, and our support. Let's bring it home. First to forget it, so add recovery assurance to your continuity strategy and help you build that badass target by knowing your sources and knowing your data, things I talked about earlier. Hardware, software, cloud, we have it fit all. You go to one place and you get everything you need, and setting up a badass target is as easy as Recovery Series by Unitrends. It'll help you achieve that IT resilience, peace of mind, knowing that your business is protected. Now, for now, you have an opportunity to win a $5,000 home lab. Simply download and deploy a 30-day trial to enter. It expires the February 28th, so you have less than a week to go for that. Also here, call to action. We got some free trials. You want to check out our products, go out to unitrends.com. You see the link there. Download us. Try us out. And if you want to see a live demo of the product, you can go to that link as well. And if you want to just have a detailed discussions with some of our continuity experts, you can go to that link and reach out to them, and they'll give you some great advice that's based on years and years of experience working with lots of customers like yourself. So that's all I got. Do we have opening this up for questions?
Sure. Let's get to it. Before I dive into the first question, just a reminder, you can still ask questions. Just do so by typing them into the bottom right-hand box in the WebEx platform. The first question we have is, how can I find out if Unitrends supports my operating systems and databases?
Very good question. I can send you a link that has a very, very long and detailed compatibility matrix for just about any and every operating system and database that you can think of in there. And it's written by our QA folks, so everything's tried and tested with every release, and it shows everything we support. I can send that out to you straight away.
Okay, the next one is, On the free upgrade program, on average, how much does the storage increase on that same unit every 3 years?
Well, according to our statistics, it's going to go up like 3 times.
All right. Next question is, we use Exchange Online as part of Office 365. Why do we need to back up? Don't they do that for us since it's all in their cloud?
No, actually they don't. They don't do a good job of backing that up for you. We've heard lots of customers that have had issues with that, but they don't do a good job of getting right down the actual individual mail that sends out by the customers. But we do a much better job of backing that up better than anyone.
Okay. And how does Unitrends compare with other DR providers?
Well, we compare. I think we have the best solution in the world. I left this out in the beginning, but I may as well be a little transparent. I found out about Unitrends when I was working at HP a few years ago, and we were trying to provide the same type of solutions to an SMB sector we were going after. And I was in a position where I had to evaluate Unitrends against a lot of competitors out there in the industry, and we did an RFP and all that type of stuff. And Unitrends was the only solution who checked off on everything we were looking for. We were looking for the best bare metal backup, on-premise, deduplication. We were looking for also being able to replicate data to the cloud. We were also looking to being able to replicate site to site. And I had some hands-on experience with Unitrends and about 5 other vendors that I'm not going to mention, but Unitrends absolutely checked off on every single thing that we were trying to deliver to our customers. So to me, I know I'm working here now and I'm proud to be here. I've evaluated this. I've been on your side where you are, and I've looked at the competitors out there, and Unitrends absolutely blew everybody away.
All right, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour here, so we'll get to one more question and then we'll wrap it up. The last question is, I have 20 terabytes of data that I want to protect on premise. How does Unitrends get my data to the cloud?
Very, very good question. We have a seeding process that we do, and how that works is we'll send you a drive that you'll install in your shop, and with that drive, we'll back up all your on-premise data, and then once that is complete, that drive is shipped to us next day to our cloud location, and we'll take that drive, your data, and we'll upload it into the cloud. That way, if you're talking about 20 terabytes of data, while sending that over the wire, it could take months to make that happen. So we have a seeding process that works very, very, very well to help that happen very quickly for you.
Excellent. Well, we're just about out of time here, so I wanted to thank everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. We'll be contacting the $100 Amazon gift card winner via email after the webinar, probably later on this afternoon. So thanks again, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Take care.
Okay, thank you very much. And my email is there if you have any other questions. I'm available.